I know this series is specifically meant for the men or the partners of the pregnant person, but if there's a video for them to peek over your shoulder and watch with you, this is it. So if you can, grab your partner. If not, no big deal. You'll have some homework you two can start discussing, and you can take the lead on your postpartum plan, which I'm sure she would really appreciate. There's a postpartum plan template linked, so fill it out and use it as a guide for these important discussions. There's a reason this video is first. Parents-to-be spend months preparing for the birth of their baby, and rightfully so. Birth is the first moments of parenthood, and the story is of how your baby comes into this world. But it usually only lasts a day, maybe two, or sometimes longer if it's a really long one. But the point is, all this preparation goes into such a short event in the grand scheme of things. And then you have this brand new baby and you have to take it home and care for it while trying to care for yourselves. And your partner is healing from a traumatic injury, basically. And not to mention if you have pets or other kids, all while being sleep deprived. Families usually don't have a plan for this immediate postpartum period, which is way longer and arguably more important than the actual birth. This work needs to be done ahead of time. These topics are intended to be a starting point for discussions about how you as a family will adjust to life with a new baby. The goal is to help you identify your resources and have a plan before they are actually needed, hopefully reducing stress, easing the transition, and setting yourselves up for a more successful and positive postpartum experience. The first topic is rest. Talk to your partner about how many hours of sleep you each need to function, and start to come up with a rough plan for how you will both get enough. The good thing about babies is that they sleep a lot. They also eat very often, so unfortunately the rest isn't usually uninterrupted, but I like to tell my clients not to get up for the day until you both get at least 8 hours of cumulative sleep. I talk about specific ways you can help your partner get more sleep in the postpartum support video, but now's the time to talk about if you have family or friends that could help hold the baby during the day and or night so you guys can get some extra sleep. And I think hiring a postpartum doula is one of the best things you can do to help during this time. They are baby experts and baby whisperers, and most of them help meal prep and do light cleaning. Win, win, win. You'll also want to discuss your sleep plan as far as where is the baby going to sleep. I always recommend researching safe bed sharing, even if you don't plan on bed sharing, so that if your baby ends up in your bed, you're familiar with how to keep them safe. And it actually is a lot more common than you probably think. The Safe Sleep 7 is a good place to start. I'll link it in the notes. And also check out some of the benefits of bed sharing. I'm not trying to persuade you one way or the other. I just want you to know it's an option and not to be scared of it. The next topic is meals. How will you, especially your partner, get adequate nutrition? She will need extra nutrition because her body will be healing from birth. And if she's breastfeeding, she will need about an extra 500 calories per day. It's surprising how hard it is to get enough healthy food to eat with a brand new baby. And you definitely don't want to use your valuable time and energy to be cooking meals. So think about what you can do ahead of time to help prepare. For my second baby, I didn't ask for anything for the baby. Instead, I wanted a deep freezer. I wanted to fill it with meals during my pregnancy to make sure we had easy, nutritious meals after the baby was born. It's so easy to make a double batch of meals and stick one of them in the freezer. I also really encourage you to ask for help with this one, which actually is a common theme for the postpartum period. You can never ask for too much help or accept too much help, in my opinion. But seriously, most people love making food for new families. Ask someone to put together a meal train for you, and you can specify what meals you like and need, what your dietary restrictions are, that kind of thing. Don't underestimate the power of a homemade meal that you don't have to make yourself in the first few weeks with the new baby. It's so wonderful. Another simple tip is to have plenty of healthy snacks easily accessible. Things like nuts, apples with almond or peanut butter, veggies and hummus, hard-boiled eggs, etc. Take a few minutes to write out healthy snacks that you each enjoy and set up a grocery delivery or have a friend keep you stocked. The next big one is having a list of trusted resources. The two big ones are mental health and a lactation consultant. You want to make sure your partner has a few options for a therapist who specializes in working with women postpartum. You should also be aware of signs of postpartum depression and mood disorders. And I'll talk about that a little more in the postpartum support section. Bonus points if you can find one too, because about 25% of dads or the non-pregnant partner suffer from postpartum depression. It's called paternal postpartum depression or paternal postnatal depression. It's not as common as it is in women, and it's talked about even less, but it's something to be aware of and keep in mind. I also recommend having a couple good lactation consultants on your list to call if your partner is planning on breastfeeding. It's not always as easy or as natural as you may think, and sometimes all it takes is one visit with a good lactation consultant to make a world of difference. For these, I recommend getting an IBCLC, that's International Board Certified Lactation Consultant. And more bonus points if you and your partner can get in to see one while she's still pregnant. This can help a ton in my experience. The next is a pretty broad topic, and that's finding and adjusting to your new normal. This includes baby duties, chores, self-care for each of you, returning to work, and your relationship. These won't be hard and fast rules, but it's meant to open up communication and get an idea of where you both are at. And then, hopefully, it will be easier to adjust and find ways that work better for both of you, and you're not starting from square one when you're in the thick of it. So, baby duties. If your partner is breastfeeding, are you going to take over the other duties like changing diapers, burping, supporting your baby to sleep? And that's basically all newborns need for a while. Talk about what you'd like that to look like and how it's going to change when you and or your partner goes back to work. What about chores? Who's going to do the laundry, dishes, take out the trash, etc.? And is there anyone who can help you with these chores once in a while? I suggest writing a list of things you need help with that you wouldn't mind someone else doing and put it up where visitors can see it. You come to see the baby, you help and do something on that list. Most people are honored to help a new family, so never feel bad about asking for or accepting help. Speaking of visitors, talk about when you and your partner would feel comfortable allowing visitors and who and at what point. Communicate the plan and your expectations with them early and remind them of it by either text, printing notes on the door, etc. The excitement of a new baby can often distract people from the plan. So again, never feel bad about reminding them of your expectations. Let's talk about self-care. I'm not talking about spa days, #self-care, although those are great too, but a little unrealistic for brand new parents. I'm talking about self-care like eating off paper plates and not feeling bad about it, showers, getting out in the nature, little things that can make your life easier, and also things that make you feel like you. Make a list of what renews and rejuvenates each of you and try to get at least one thing in a day. Your relationship. About 67% of couples report their marital satisfaction plummets after they have a baby. I'm not telling you this to be a bummer. I'm telling you this so you can be prepared. You're already way ahead of most couples by just being here. Again, open up communication around your relationship. How will you keep each other a priority and keep that special bond between the two of you? Start by telling each other every day, 1, what you're feeling, and 2, what you need right now. Start now while she's still pregnant and make it a habit so it's easier to continue through postpartum. Another suggestion is to take just a few minutes every day to look into each other's eyes and just be present with each other and check in. Start talking about when you might want to go on your first date without your baby, where you'd want to go, and who you would trust to watch your baby. Again, this may change, but just start thinking about it and try to get in some special time before your new baby arrives. There's a lot of other topics in the postpartum plan, and there's probably some that aren't even covered that applies to your family. But like I said, you're way ahead of other partners, and all this work you're doing now will pay off big time postpartum.